Hi, welcome to live stream Yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today we are focusing on the most important relationship you will have in your lifetime, the relationship that you have with yourself. Remember that the way you treat yourself determines how other people in turn treat and form their relationship with you. So think about how you feel when you look at yourself in the mirror. Do you see only the things that you don't like, or do you focus on the things that you do like? When you're moving on the mat, do you fuss over the movements that you can't get right, or do you feel excited when you do get a movement right? Do you celebrate when you start moving stronger and with more control on the mat? Think about that relationship that you keep playing with the whole time, the one you have with yourself. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify when you need to, rest when you need to. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We're going to set up for today's class coming into a 4-point kneeling frame on the mat. Make sure that you've got enough room to extend your legs behind you into a plank line. Ease your way down onto the hands and the knees, opening up your fingers nice and wide, lots of space between the hands. Check that your knees are stacking underneath your hips and that your feet are not pigeon-toeing in or out. Feet are stacking behind your knees. Start by just collapsing through the shoulders. Then push away from the mat. Start to find a long line through the neck and the spine. Gently pull your belly button into center and start to brace your core. Step your right leg back, tucking the toes under, and then just find strength here, pushing through both hands, pushing through your bent knee, and sending energy through the heel of your extended leg, core braced. Come back to 4-point kneeling, keeping steady through the shoulders and the hips, and step your left leg back. Think of finding that strength as you push away from the mat. Come back to 4-point kneeling. Keep as steady as you can through the shoulders and the hips, so not dipping lower on one side. Step one leg back. Step the other leg back and hold your plank line strong. Arms are working, legs are working, core is working, front, back, and sides. Then take that wide lizard step out to the right. Pause here. Foot softly splayed out to 45. Maybe starting to sink down a little bit lower through the hips to open up. Rest in your plank line, stay strong. Find your way back to plank and step out on side 2. Dropping down a little bit through the pelvis, find that opening through the whole pelvic girdle. Find your way back to plank. We're going to step out into a squat line. Step wide right, step wide left, drop down through the pelvis, maybe hands to floor. Maybe just using your elbows to open up gently through the pelvis. From here, you're going to find your way into a seated frame on the mat. Take a seat and just measure yourself so that you've got enough room to fully extend the legs. We'll start with a bent leg, and in a moment, not right away, we'll be rolling it down. So if you know your mat is thin, you've got a sensitive or pronounced curvature of the spine, just place a little bit of padding where your lower back will need it. Start by finding a tall seat on the mat. Feet and knees hip width distance apart. Pretend that you've got a ball, a soft soccer ball between your two knees, and you're consistently squeezing into the knees. So I want grounded feet, no toes coming up off the mat, inner thighs are switched on, and you're just starting by finding that tall sense of shoulders stacking over your hips. So you're not leaning forward and you're not leaning backwards. As we start to play, I want you to keep this high seat, shoulders over knees. Take a big breath in and twist to the left, grabbing opposite hand to knee. With your hand, you're going to pull in. With your knee, you're going to resist, and you're going to keep squeezing into that imaginary ball between both knees. Inhale, come back to center without leaning forwards or backwards. Exhale, twist to side 2, grabbing opposite hand to hip. Inhale, come back to center. Find your twist to side one. Grabbing opposite hand to knee. Activate that activation. So you're pressing in and you're resisting. Now begin to drag and brace with the opposite leg. Maintaining that tall seat, not leaning forward, not leaning backwards. Come back to center. On an exhale, twist. Find that opposition in your twist. Then start to extend, drag and brace on the opposite leg. Maintaining your tall seat. So the whole time you're pulling up on that zip from your pubic bone towards your sternum. Come back to center. Let's add one more piece of the puzzle. Twist to side one. Activate that twist. Extend and brace on the opposite leg. Then see if you can pull up from the pelvic floor and lift and hover your extended leg off the mat and hold for 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. Come back to center. Take a breather. When you're ready, twist to side two. Activate the twist. Extend the opposite leg. Then pull up from the pelvic floor. See if you can lift and hover for 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. Find your way back into your high seat. We're taking it into a roll down and we'll do the first roll down with a bent leg. Sit up nice and tall, floating the arms out in front. On an active exhale, nod your chin to your chest, hollow out your belly, round out your back. Start to peel down one vertebra at a time, connecting your back line to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift just off the shoulders. Then press through both feet. Look down towards your belly button and peel back up to your start position. Give me at least 4 more roll downs in your own time. Trying to move up and down with your breath and making sure that you're not leaning on the stronger side of your body. So be cognizant of what's happening between the shoulders and what's happening between your 2 hip points. You're trying to peel down with the weight even on both sides of the spinal column. Try to keep all 10 toes on the mat. So watch that your toes are not peeling up off the mat as you're rolling down. And as you're rolling up, so press down through the tops of your feet as you roll back up. The next time you find yourself in a seat, you're going to maintain that high seat on the mat, and you're going to tuck both hands behind your head in a surrender-like fashion. You can just loosely tuck the hands behind your head, or you can make a soft zip, if you like, with your fingertips. Maintaining that high seat, so not leaning forward, not leaning back. You're going to exhale and twist to side one, keeping your elbows as wide as you can and pressing back with your head into your hands and resisting with your hands. Inhale to come back to center. Exhale to twist to side two. Keep your elbows reaching nice and tall. Come back to center. Exhale, twist to side one. Then the leg that's furthest away from your twist, you're going to extend, brace, and kick, holding your twist, keeping your high seat. Inhale to come back to the middle. Exhale to twist to side two. Drag and extend the leg that's furthest away from your twist. Inhale, come back to center. Twist. Drag and brace. Now see if you can lift and hover for 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. Come back to center, take a recovery breath. The whole time you're squeezing in with the inner thighs as if that ball was dangling from the ceiling. Twist, extend the leg that's furthest away from you, lift and hover for 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. Come back to center, extend both legs. Both legs about hip width distance apart, arms long and lengthened in front of you. Big breath in to prepare. Use the whole exhale to hollow out, to begin rolling down, keeping even through the shoulders and the hips as you're peeling down. And then even as through the shoulders and the hips as you're peeling back up. Start to move with your breath. Let's do one more, and then we'll end in our staff seat, and we'll play with that twisting motion again. So maintaining your leg stance, you're going to find that high seat, not leaning forward, not leaning backwards, and you're going to tuck those hands behind your head. Exhale to twist to side one, keeping your elbows wide, pressing softly with the back of your head into your fingertips and resisting. Inhale to come back to the middle. Exhale to twist to side two. Inhale to come back to the middle. Exhale to twist to side one. See if you can lift and hover the leg furthest away from your twist. Hold. Hold for a further 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to the middle. On an exhale, twist to side two. Then lift and hover the leg furthest away from your twist. Hold. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it back to the middle. We're bringing it back into a roll down, either keeping the arms long and extended in front of you or bending the elbows, crossing at the wrists, and trying to use the weight of your arms to make your roll down a little bit more challenging. Big breath in to prepare. On the exhale, start to make your arms heavy into your chest as you start to peel down into your roll down. Making sure you're even through the shoulders, even through the hips, so you're not throwing your shoulder weight. You're remembering to look down as you're rolling to connect your back line to the mat. And more importantly, looking down as you roll back up into your seat. Remember to use your breath. Let's do one more to come into a supine position, and then we'll play on the back. So as you come down on your last roll down, bend your knees, ground your feet, slip any padding that you might have underneath your back out from underneath you. We're going to start in a bridge-like setup, and remember that this frame, this bridge-like setup, is where you'll come to at any time that you need to take a little rest. We're going to try to load for the next couple of exercises through the core. So we're going to focus abs. We'll start with a little alternating dead bug. Begin in neutral spine. Then give me a small little tilt to the 12 o'clock position. Think hollower belly, rounder back. Draw the left leg into table. Press and resist with the left palm. Find that resistance on the lower left side of your abs, on the opposite side of the body. Extend and hover the two limbs off the mat. Then switch. Pressing and resisting on one side, opening to extend on the other. The whole time you're thinking soft hollow belly and more of a rounded shape through the back. Keep pressing and resisting on one side and keep opening up on the other side. You're going to either stay here with your alternating dead bug, or you're going to work a progression coming into a single leg stretch. Give me more of a scoop, and the next time your knee comes in, hug it in towards your chest with both hands and extend the other leg away from you. Now you're thinking more of a hollow frame. So you've got your lower and your mid back imprinted into the mat. Weight is off the shoulders if you can, and about 2 fingers of air between your chin and your chest. You're going to end for me with your right knee hugged in towards your chest. You're going to brace into both heels, and then you're going to tap the heel of your extended leg to the floor and back, keeping that slight hollow frame into the mat. Let's do 8, 6, 4, 2. As you complete the last one, you're going to peel back down to the mat. The leg that's already bent, you're going to ground, and you're going to extend your other leg up towards the sky. Hands are either at your side, or you can tuck your hands, palms down underneath your bum. We're going to play with a leg drop, but we're going to play with a foot position as well. So for your first drop, and let's just do a halfway drop and see how that feels. You're going to keep your toes soft. Drop halfway, and keeping the soft toe line, pull back to your start position. Now brace into the heel and do the next one with an active heel brace and back to start. Keep changing your toe position. One soft, one braced. So you're thinking toe and heel. If this is not enough work, you're going to give me a wider drop, coming shy of the floor and then back to your start position. Don't rush it. Play with the foot position, slow and controlled. Making sure you're not tensing into your shoulder, neck or jawline. Keep the work in your abs. Don't transfer any tension to your head and your neck. Let's do one more of each variant. And then we'll give this leg a little bit of a rest. So the leg that you were working, you're going to roll onto that side. You're going to bend that leg and you're going to extend the other leg. You can use your bottom arm as a pillow, or you can give me a small prop. Try to start your movement with the two knees more or less lining over each other. If you need more support on the mat, you can drag the bottom knee closer towards your hip line. All right. You're going to begin your movement with your top leg at hip height. And then we're going to move just above the hip height and just below the hip height. Let's do the first one by dropping the heel towards the floor. You're going to come up towards the ceiling and back down. Come up towards the ceiling and back down, keeping an active brace into your heel. So you can think of this as a hovering heel drop. Let's do 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to change the foot position. Come back to parallel, then drop the toes towards the floor, heel looking to the sky. You're going to press up with your heel to the ceiling and then back down to hovering just off the floor. Let's do 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now let's alternate between the two leg positions. So you're going to give me one heel, one toe, one heel, one toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. You're going to extend the top leg. Let's do a soft toe on the first one and begin to trace a big lazy circle with the top leg, trying to keep the circle not wider than the two outer lines of your mat. Just keep moving in the same direction. Soft toe line for the first circle. So long stretch from your hip bone to your big toe. Inhale for half. Exhale for half. Then change it up. Begin to move in the opposite direction, but this time give me an active brace the whole time into your heel. Inhaling for half, exhaling for half, keeping your belly button softly pulled into center. From here, we're going to roll over onto the belly. You're going to keep your legs in a soft parallel line, and you're going to find a cactus-like frame with your elbows. So you're going to bend the elbows, and you're going to start your movement with your elbows in line with your armpit. You're not going to pull through that line at any time. So you're going to keep your elbows in line with your armpit. Relax your head and your arms down to the mat. We're going to play with a little cobra flow. Pretend there's a little marble underneath your nose. Start to roll the marble away with the tip of your nose. Start to peel your chest and your head off the mat, but keep your arms connected to the mat. Stop just before your bottom rib disengages, and then think about what body parts you're using to hold that frame. If you're pressing aggressively through your elbows, your forearms, and your palms, try to ease up on that press. Try to use more back muscle to hold the lift. If you're clenching your butt cheeks tightly together, try to soften the glutes slightly and use more back muscle. Peel softly back down to the mat, reconnecting that marble underneath your nose and taking a recovery breath. We're going to come back into the same frame and we'll add a progression. Start to roll the marble away. Peel your chest off the mat. Lock the height of your chest lift in. See if you can just focus on back muscles and lift and hover your cactus arms off the mat, holding your elbows at about shoulder height. For 10, 8, 6, palms are looking down to the floor, so you're not waving your fingertips up towards the sky. 3, 2, 1, float softly back down to the mat. Take a recovery breath or two. We'll add one more piece to our little cobra work. So find that little marble, start to roll it away, start to peel up into your chest lift. Lock the height of your chest lift in, use your back muscles, maybe start to softly press with the tops of your feet into the mat as you float your hands up to hovering. Then swing the hands overhead, trying to tap your thumb and your index finger together. And then come back to your start position, stopping when the elbows are in line with your armpits, and not pulling the elbows through towards your waist, but stopping when you're in line with your armpit. You're going to keep floating overhead and coming back to your start position. The whole time, using those strong back muscles to hold your chest lift. Keep breathing, don't hold your breath. Last one. Find your cactus frame. Bleed your chest and your arms back down to the mat. Then start to bring your elbows closer towards your waistline, bringing the palms alongside your chest. We're going to push back into the parallel child, so keep the legs soft and relaxed and parallel behind you. Start to push off your palms. Think bum to heel, and just take a little stretch here. Then ease your way from here into a high kneeling frame, making sure you've got your knees, your hips, and your shoulders stacked in one line. Just take a little camel stretch, pressing your hands into your lower back. You can either do palms down, palms up, or you can take the little L shape between your index finger and thumb, and you can hook it around your waist. So you're going to bump the hips slightly forward, supporting the weight of your back as you come into a soft little camel stretch, feeling that nice little stretch into the tops of your thighs, into the lower belly. Then relax the arms at your side, nod your chin to your chest for a moment, and think of that tall stack, knees, hips, and shoulders in one long line. Keeping that tall stack, bring your chin line into parallel and tuck both hands behind your head. This time, interlace the hands, make a secure basket. Press with your hands into your head and resist. Find that resistance. Keep it gently going. Take a big breath in. On the exhale, dip your right elbow towards the floor and hold here, reaching long through your left elbow point. Keep that resistance going. Keep both elbows reaching long. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, drop your left elbow. Hold the drop. And start to reach long through your right elbow point, stretching through the rib cage on the right side of the body. Open up those spaces between the ribs. Come back to center. Relax the arms at your side. Sit back, bum to heel. Then sweep the legs underneath you and find your way into a start seat. And then drop back onto the elbows. Don't collapse the back of your rib cage to the floor. So start to push off your elbow points and your forearms and float your chest to the sky. Clip the 2 feet together so you squeezing, not squeezing, you squeezing ankles and big toes together. You're keeping your chin relaxed down. You're going to give me single leg lifts on the right. Let's just do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Change. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Can you double up? 5, 4, 3, 2. The next time you lift your legs up, see if you can sweep the arms from underneath you, coming into a hollow hold. So you're thinking you like frame through your body, and you're going to hold for 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. Then relax your whole body to the mat. Take a recovery breath or 2. We're going to repeat that sequencing on side 2, beginning with our alternating dead bug. Bend your knees, ground your feet, find neutral. Then give me a small little tilt to the 12 o'clock position. Think hollow belly, rounded back. It's not a full imprint, but it's a soft expression of that you-like frame. Draw your left knee up to 90. Push and resist with your left palm on the right. Open and hover. Then begin to switch sides. Actively pressing on one side and resisting while opening to hover on side 2. Think of that hollower belly and that rounded back like frame. Then try to increase that hollowness. So the next time you bend one knee, you're going to think hollower frame, so coming right off the shoulders, imprinting your lower back as you start to use both hands to draw one knee in towards your nose while extending the other leg softly away at maybe a 45-degree angle. You're going to end with your left knee drawn in towards your nose. You're going to brace into both feet, and then you're going to tap the heel of your extended leg to the floor, trying to keep that hollow frame in the mat. Let's do 7, 5, 3, 1. The leg that's bent, you're going to ground that foot into the mat, and you're going to float your extended leg up towards the sky. Hands at your side or underneath your bum. We're going to play with those drops. First one is soft, down and back. Next one is braced, down and back. You're going to alternate soft toe line and braced heel line. Playing small, or maybe you want to play wider, but don't rush. Slow and controlled. You want to feel that burn. And remember, you're not driving the drop from your foot, but you're controlling the drop through your abs. So I want you to feel abs burning. You're trying to hold a comfortable neutral position on the mat through the spine. Just making the whole of your rib cage heavy, but not actively trying to imprint with a tilt. Let's do one more of each, and then we're going to flip over onto the side. And remember that the leg that you are actively working is the leg that you're going to rest now. So as you roll over, you're going to bend that leg, extend the other. Either give me a long pillow or a small brace. Start your movement with your leg in line with your hip. Let's do dropped heel, toes looking to the sky first. You're going to come up at an angle and back down, moving just above and just below your starting point. I'm going to call that 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's change the foot position. Toe now looking down towards the floor. And you're going to take heel to sky and back to your start position, moving just above and just below your starting point. I'm going to call that 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, let's test our coordination. You're going to bring the foot back into parallel. You're going to give me one heel, one toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe for 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. Soft toe. You're going to start to trace a big lazy circle, moving in one direction. Try to keep the circle not wider than the 2 outside lines of your mat, so the width of your mat. And then change it up, trace in the opposite direction, but this time with an active brace into the heel of your foot the whole time. Inhaling for half, exhaling for half. Let's do one more, and then we'll find our way onto the belly and we'll play with those cobra layers. So you're going to set up your cactus cobra. And as you're lying onto the mat, make sure that you're connecting to your pelvis by starting in neutral, then giving me a small tilt to the 12 o'clock position so that you can feel your pubic bone and your 2 hip bones connecting to the mat. Try to keep that soft tilt as we play with our cobra. Elbows stay in line with your armpit. You're going to find that little marble, start to roll it away. Start to feel up in your chest lift. Then think about what you're using to hold your frame. Use less arms, less glutes, less feet, more back. Keep your gaze just softly down on the mat in front of you. So you're not throwing your head back, you're not putting any tension on the back of your neck. Start to peel back down. Take some recovery breaths. Peel back up into your cobra line when you're ready. Bottom rib is still connected to the mat. Make sure your back muscles are fired and working. See if you can lift and hover your cactus frame off the mat. Elbows and palms in line with your armpit. So you're not dropping the hands, you're not dropping the elbows, you're not lifting the elbows, you're not lifting the hands. Peel back down to your start position. Take a recovery breath or 2. We'll find our swimming cactus cobra. So when you're ready, start to articulate up through your chest lift. Once you've locked the height of your chest lift in and you know that your back muscles are fired and working, hover the frame of your arms, then swim overhead, tapping the thumb and the index finger together, and come back to your start position. Not moving past your start position, so not hugging the elbows in towards your waist, but stopping every time when your elbows are in line with your armpit. Keeping your hands, palms looking down, so fingers are not looking up towards the sky. Keeping your gaze down on the mat, using those back muscles to hold your cobra frame. Last one. Bring your whole frame back down. Take a recovery breath. When you're ready, start to bend the elbows and bring them closer towards your waistline. Place your palms alongside your chest. Push back into child, thinking bum to heel, keeping the legs in a soft parallel frame today. Just take a mini stretch here. When you're ready, you're going to peel up into a nice high kneeling frame, shoulders, hips, knees stacked, and you're going to take a little camel stretch, bumping those hips forward. Then relax the arms at your side. Nod your chin to your chest and check that your shoulders, your hips, and your knees are stacked in one long line. Chin line, bring it to parallel. Tuck both hands behind your head. This time give me an active interlace. Start to press with the back of your head into your hands, resist with your hands. Keep that resistance going and maintain your high kneel. Take a big breath in. On the exhale, drop your left elbow and pause. Keep reaching long through your right elbow point and hold that stretch. Try to open up the spaces between the ribs on the right side of your body. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, drop your right elbow. Reach long through the left. Hold that stretch. Find your way back to center. Then relax the arms at your side. You're going to find your way from here into the standing frame on the mat. So think fingertips to floor. Find your way into a haunch line, maybe tucking the toes under. Starting to bring the knees up off the floor. And as you pull them up, pull up from the pubis towards the sternum to draw the knees up. Walk your hands back. Ground your feet. Make sure they're in parallel. Ragdoll style peel up. Restacking. Realigning your body. Take a step towards the middle of the mat, or two. All right, let's just do 4 more roll downs before we play with a little stretch sequence. So nod your chin to your chest, hollow out your belly, round out your back, start to peel down, 1 vertebra at a time. Then peel back up to restack and realign. Check that your feet are in parallel underneath your hips as you're rolling down and up. Use your whole exhale to come down with control, so moving with the breath. Take a recovery inhale at the end of your movement and then use a whole exhale to restack and realign. Notice what you're doing through the shoulders and the hips. So you're peeling down with the weight equal on both sides of your spine as you're coming down. Don't rush the movement. Think of the weight in your body as you're moving. Then the next time you restack and realign your body, maybe bring the feet in just inside of hip-width distance apart. So a little bit more of a narrower stance, but not flush along the midline. You're going to find a focal point on the wall in front of you as we challenge our abs and we play with a little working stretch sequence. So for the first one, you're going to think of pulling up from the pubis towards your belly button line to lift the right knee into a tabletop position, stopping when the knee is more or less in line with your hip. Stay here or see if you can actively press into your foot and maintain for 10, 8, 6, 4, I caught a wobble, 3, 1, come back to your start position. Took my eye off the ball, got lost. Give it a shake out. Let's try the same on side 2. So we're almost mimicking from a standing position what we were doing right at the beginning from a tall seated position on the mat. So you're trying not to lean forward. You're trying not to lean backwards. All right. Keep your eye on your focal point. Don't do what I did and catch a wobble. All right. So bring your left leg up to table and hold. Maybe you're staying here, maybe you're extending for 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. Find your way back to your stand. Give the legs a little shake out. Standing up nice and tall. Bend your right knee, reach for the foot, and then start to front view. As you reach for the foot, try not to allow your knee to track out to the side of the room. Start to squeeze the knee into center. Keep that knee squeeze active and just relax the other arm at your side. Relax, bring it down. Let's do the same on side 2. Bend your left leg, reach for the foot. Start to squeeze the left knee into center and hold that active squeeze. Let's come back to the first side and let's add. Bend your right leg, reach for the foot. Start to squeeze the knee into center. Keep that center squeeze and now add a tiny tilt of your pubis to the 12 o'clock position so that you can feel a little bit lengthening in the lower back and a little bit pull up on the front chain. Now see if you can reach with both hands for your toes. If this feels good, Give me a little lean forward just off the center line and see what that feels like. Keep squeezing into center. All right, release back to neutral. Give the shake up. Let's try the same on side 2. Bend your left leg, reach for the foot. Start to squeeze the left knee into center. Give me a small little tilt to the 12 o'clock position, just a small tilt, don't exaggerate it. And then see if you can reach with both hands for the toes. Now start to lean forward, just off the center line. Come back to center, shake it out. Let's see if we can come into a full modified dancer. All right, let's bend the right leg, reach for the foot. Activate your knee, squeeze into center. Then start to actively kick the foot away from your bum as you start to lean forward, bringing the opposite hand out in front of you, trying to keep as even as you can through the shoulders and the hips. Kick the back foot away from your bottom into your hand. Peel your way back to center, trying not to wobble and lose. Focus, shake it up. Let's try the same on side 2. Bend your left leg, reach for the foot. Start to squeeze the left knee into center. Then actively kick the foot into your hand. Start to lean your chest forward. Start to float the opposite arm out in front. Come down with the weight equal on both sides of the spine. Actively kick the foot away from your bottom. Find your way back to center. Shake up the legs if you need to. We're coming into a forward fold and we're going to play with the arms if you feel so inclined. Alright, so coming to a tabletop line to start. Maybe you're just placing your hands on your hips and you're pausing here. Maybe you're reaching the hands behind you, but you're trying to find a long line through the neck and the spine. Starting to play slightly, starting to shift the weight in your feet. Don't just think weight in the front and the back of your feet. Also think of the weight along the sides of your feet. So the weight is balanced on all 4 quadrants. See if you can come through the tabletop line. Maybe interlacing the hands. Maybe you're giving me a loose interlace and you're squaring up through the wrists. Maybe you're bringing the 2 palms together and you're thinking knuckles to sky. Think of the weight in your feet, equal on all 4 quadrants. Belly button pulled into center. Feel that delicious stretch up the whole back chain of your legs. Then soften through the knees, ragdoll style, peel up. As you restack and realign, relax the arms at your side. Then float the arms out in front. Interlace them. Invert your hands, push away. Send energy out through the palms of your hands. And then start to float your interlaced hands overhead. Think of what's happening between the shoulders and the hips. So start level with the weight equal on both sides of your spine. Then start to think of bringing your hands off center to the left and bump the weight into your right hip. Pause here. Open up to the right side of your ribs, hold the stretch. Interlace, come back to the middle. Then start to bump your hands off center to the right. Bump your hips to the left. Hold the stretch, opening up through the left side of your ribs. Feet are still fully grounded, even though the weight placement has shifted to the sides of your feet. Come back to center. Bring your hands down in active prayer, stopping with your palms in front of your heart, actively pressing into your hands, the end of your practice for today. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hope you enjoyed. Till next time, keep it light.